friends, and greetings for the day. Welcome back to another tutorial of ISTQB Advanced Technical Test Analyst. We are in chapter 2 and we have completed all the topics, and this tutorial is about sample questions on chapter 2. Just to inform that this tutorial will be in brief in order to address the answers for the sample questions. For more details, you can look into the respective tutorials to understand more detail about that. It's just to make sure that the tutorial doesn't go longer. I'm just keeping it simple and brief with the understanding of each question. First of all, to begin with, is what kind of pattern do you have from this chapter? You will be having altogether 8 questions which will be asked to you in chapter 2, and we have 6 K3 and 2 K4 questions coming from this chapter, and that's the breakup on the screen right now, and you can look for the topic numbers as per your syllabus. To get started, the very first question is from 100% modified condition decision coverage. You just need to recall when you went through the topic or the tutorial of modified condition decision coverage. We have to basically analyze what kind of test cases, if inverted, will result into a different outcome, and we took different combination of the test cases, and then we picked up the right combination of test cases at least once to be executed to have 100% modified condition decision coverage. That means if I change a condition, modify it, then the outcome must change. And that's how this question is, again with a different example. You are testing a photo enforcement system for traffic control in an intersection. It has been determined that a photo should be taken if the signal light is red, represented by the text red, or the car is speeding, represented by speed, and if the front wheels of the car are over the line marking the beginning of the intersection, represented by wheels. So if you see here, it just says that it will take a picture with help of the control flow given there, the condition statement, that if red or speed and wheels, if it is the signal is red and the wheels are on the line, it will take a photo. If it is speed and the wheels are on the line, it will take a photo as well. Else, it will not take the picture at all. So the possible combinations will be 8 because we have 3 inputs, 2 raised to 3, 8 test cases. But to have modified condition decision coverage to its optimum, that is 100%, we need to find out if we keep other 2 fixed and we change the input of one condition, does the output change? And that's how you select the test cases. So in this case, the right answer is 3, 4, 5, and 7. For more detail, how we picked up 3, 4, 5, 7, you can watch a detailed video on MCDC in the previous tutorials. Okay. Let's look at the next one, which is about 100% multiple condition coverage. Again, the scenario remains the same, just keeping it simple and easy for you to understand the situations and different techniques on the same scenario. Now, given the information, which set of values provide the minimum set of tests to achieve 100% multiple condition coverage? So we have 4 options here. A, all the sets are needed. B, 3, 4, 5, 7, that's for modified condition decision coverage. C, 1, 3, 8, no, that will not do, because if you know what's 100% multiple condition coverage, that means all combinations must be tested which are possible within the limit. So here all the 8 test cases will be required, and thus the right answer is A, that all the set of test cases are needed for 100% multiple condition coverage. Now that's the difference between modified condition decision coverage and multiple condition coverage. Do not get confused, the words are different. For that it is modified, here it is multiple, and they are different. Here's another question about the basis path coverage. That means if you have to talk about basis path, you have to recall that you keep a baseline path first and change the condition of one particular condition and check for the different outcomes. So remember that control flow we discussed in one of our tutorial with respect to the basis path coverage. We had both examples where different ABC condition, where I used the paper, pen, and writing concept as one example for the truth table, and the other one was with a control flow diagram where there was one main condition, had two outcomes, true and false, and further had two conditions on each one of them, and then had again further branches. So you have to keep the main condition stagnant and then look for the other condition, what is the output, and try to find out minimum number of paths required for all the coverage with the same output. Now in this case, if you change the output, that means if you change a condition, if for example keeping it red as fixed and then speed plus wheel is equal to true, then speed red plus speed not wheels will not take the picture because there's no picture, the wheels are not touching the intersection at all. So when you go on this with evaluation of that, if I keep any one of these, but it should be true. So if you see here, right from the bottom, when there is nothing, right from 5, 6, 7, 8, all these conditions will not take picture because either the condition A and B, that is red and speed, or the wheel is not meeting the expectation, so the outcome will be false in all these four cases. And then we are left with 1, 2, 3, 4, and in that 2 and 3 are the cases where if I keep change the condition, then still it is going to give me a true output. For example, look at T, red plus speed plus not wheels. Now that's one thing which we need to capture, and if you change the condition other way around, that means red plus not speed plus wheels, it will still take the screenshot. So that's how you select the right output, and here from the given options the right answer is B. 2 and 3 will be the set of test cases required for full coverage of basis path. All you need to remember is the basis path has to have an same outcome or true outcome. You should not test it for false, that means there is no outcome at all. So you should change the conditions only for those statements or paths which finally comes to a output. The next question is about the API testing. As you remember, this is a K2 level question. That means no theoretical, only theoretical question can be asked to you here. So here the question says, which of the following types of defects are targeted by API testing? So there is no evaluation like any other technique, so you just have to remember a theoretical understanding of that. It says A, loss of transaction, B, non-conformation to coding standards, C, incorrect data handling, D, installation defects, E, GUI faults. Now first of all, you need to recall that what did you learn during API testing, because for that it would be very helpful to understand what kind of defects an API system can actually find. So first of all, if you recall what kind of defects are or what API is actually related to, so the very first thing is the transaction, which is an intermediate between the front end and the web services, which actually caters that. So loss of transaction is one positive thing which API can very well help you with. Sometimes the third-party APIs are integrated to your web applications and people make payment through those third-party softwares. So API testing can be very helpful to find such defects during the testing. When you talk about B, it says non-conformation to coding standards. This is targeted for maintainability testing. It's not at all as a part of the API testing, so that's not correct. C, incorrect data handling. This is again one of the aspect of API testing, because how to manage the data, how to handle the data which user basically enters on the front end must be managed, validated with help of API before it can be finally sent for requests to be processed at the server level. So API also helps you to manage and validate the data which must go to the server in order to reduce the load. Again, if you need more information, please refer to the tutorial of API testing to gain in-depth understanding of that. So C is another one option, and in this question they want two options, so that's where A and C both are okay. D, installation defects. I think this is not listed in one of the types of the API testing. Installation testing is different and installation defects are handled by that. And the last one is GUI fault. GUI is not at all applicable when it comes to API, because API does not have a user interface. that will be only for the code level. So that's where GUI faults are not applicable as well. So the right answer here is A and C, that is loss of transaction and incorrect data handling is the defects which can be targeted by API testing. One last question from this segment, which is about selecting a technique, and the question says you are advising the developers in an agile team on the appropriate test coverage to achieve in the next sprint. 3 business critical user stories are on the sprint backlog. Each user story requires that several sequential actions are performed with some simple error handling routines. Which is the level of test coverage you would expect to be achieved in this testing of the user story? Now, of course, this requires a better understanding of different techniques in order to understand how these techniques will be helpful at different scenarios. So, of course, the last topic, that is to select a white box testing technique, requires a K4 level understanding. That means it is to apply, and you need to apply that on these kind of scenarios to get what could be the best thing which can be handled. Now, to understand each option here, when you look at option A, it says decision coverage plus modified condition decision coverage. Is saying a blend of 2 techniques. This is the same as simple MCDC, as decision coverage is subsumed by the MCDC. So there is actually, that's not possible because decision coverage is a subset of MCDC. So there is no point doing this combination of techniques to achieve the better coverage for critical user stories. B says decision coverage plus statement coverage, and again statement coverage with decision coverage is appropriate for the sequential action, but might not be useful that point when you say how that will be actually useful, because this is same as decision coverage, or we remember from the foundation that decision coverage is stronger than statement coverage. So if you have to do, then what's the point of having both the combination there? And again, that would not be required to be done. Look at the option C here, which says just a moment here. Yes, so that says modified condition decision coverage, because that is again to filter out the content and look at the repetition avoidation. For example, avoiding the repetition, that means if a condition is modified, if the outcome changes, that is what the test cases you pick. But do not forget, you are talking about a critical system. A business critical user story requires all possible test cases to be tested, and thus that's not a right answer. The most important and most appropriate answer will be multiple condition coverage. If you can recall the learning from the multiple condition coverage, which we also handled recently in the previous example of sample questions, it says any sort of combination which is created out of the different conditions, all must be tested, and that is what you call it as multiple condition coverage. That means any combination will be tested. And when it comes to safety critical systems or business critical user stories, or anywhere where the criticality is very high, severity is very high, you do not take a chance to minimize your test cases, rather try to cover all possible combinations which are created with help of that. Similarly, when it comes to pairwise techniques from the functional approach, we do say that pairwise will be more important in order to understand that. So that's all from this particular tutorial, team. I hope this sample question discussion was very helpful for you to add more value to your learning other than the questions which we have discussed during the tutorial. So look into that, understand, and should have any questions beyond this, feel free to comment below. I'll be there to address them and answer that well. Till then, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep understanding the context. We'll be getting back to you with the next chapter 3 to understand more about technical test analyst. Thanks for watching the video, team, and happy learning.